Today's day 71, and it's the start of week 11 on the Border to Border calendar or Triple Crown. This morning we left the Broken Fiddle after our 0 day yesterday, which was amazing, and then we headed generally towards the Grayson Highlands area. I'm excited to get into this section of trail. I just remember it was so beautiful, and the weather today could not have been better for hiking. We had a great early start to the day, even though we were in town, and this was some really nice walking. That's where all the horses were. My favorite section of the day was when we started climbing up towards Mount Rogers. The trail doesn't actually go up to the peak, but you go right by it, and this was just a gorgeous section. It was super exposed, really nice, and then we got to that first shelter that's in the Grayson Highlands area, and we started looking for ponies. I'm hoping that we see at least a few while we're here. Come over here, horsies. Yeah, those guys. I kind of imagine they just didn't want to be that close to the horses. Today we crossed over the AT 500 mile marker.
Yeah,
What happened to you?
we're going through it.
Wow. Dang.
You want a pet?
It's the end of day 71. We left the Broken Fiddle this morning finally after getting it at noon like 2 days ago and then zeroing yesterday. Yeah, it was awesome zero though, incredible. But we actually got up and out early this morning. We were walking a little bit after 7. And then, yeah, just got after it. We did like over 33 miles today. Went through the Grayson Highlands. We're still in it, I guess. We're staying at the Wise shelter tonight. Last time it took me 2 days to get here after leaving Damascus, which is crazy. I just got to the shelter. There's a couple section hikers, but plenty of room for all of us. So we're just gonna hang out, cook dinner, and go to bed. It's just before 8. It was a good day. We saw ponies, lots of birds and deer, a lot of wildlife today. But it's a great day. It feels good to get big miles in after like taking a day off and doing some shorter days. I imagine we're gonna do some pretty big days like the next 4 or 5 days. But feeling good. We're just gonna hang out for the rest of the night. It's the start of day 72. We're about to get moving. It's like 5:30 a.m. This morning we left the Grayson Highlands area and we're just heading generally towards the partnership shelter where we're going to be staying tonight. We had a really nice early start, so we're still going to do about 30 miles today, but it's looking like we're going to get there about 4 p.m. So we'll get to just chill out, have an early night, and instead of going into Marion to resupply, we're just going to order a ridiculous amount of pizza to the shelter and eat that for dinner and then pack the rest of it out for tomorrow. We're only like, we're 12 miles from like the next store. I don't have snacks, so I'm like.
It's the end of the day 72. We did 30 miles today by 4:30. Got to the partnership shelter, which is outside of Marion. You can order pizza here. So we've just been hanging out, watched movies, got the 28-inch Colossus pizza, which was ridiculous for 2 people. And then we're just going to keep hiking. We're not even going to resupply in Marion tomorrow.
It's day 73. This morning we left the partnership shelter in the dark, packed out a ton of pizza to have to eat today, and we only had about maybe 11 or 12 miles until we came to the next road crossing where there was a gas station. And actually one of Punisher's friends, Sean, he came and met us there, and then he drove us down the road to the next closest town. I believe it's called Arnica or something like that. And he drove us there. We did a super quick resupply and then got right back on trail. We didn't need a whole lot of stuff, but I was pretty much out of snacks. And then leaving the road, we began some rolling climbs. We had a pretty good amount of elevation gain to do for the day, but overall it felt pretty easy. We wound up passing a lot of trail maintenance guys, and this dude was literally leaf blowing the trail right in front of us, which was so cool. And then we passed over the quarter-way marker. I can't believe we're already so far into the Appalachian Trail. It's really flying by, and I feel like I'm almost enjoying myself more the second time around than the first. I think the social aspect the first time was amazing, but I feel so much stronger this time. It's making all the climbing a lot more enjoyable. We wound up pushing out a huge day, going all the way from Partnership Shelter to Chestnut Knob Shelter, which was about 36 miles. And we got up to the top right as the sunset was coming in. It was absolutely beautiful. And when we arrived at the Chestnut Knob Shelter, it was totally empty. So we got to relax and chill, have a great restful night. The birds. Like, could they make it any better? Thanks, nature. It's day 74, and this morning we left the Chestnut Knob Shelter, got to watch a really beautiful sunrise, and then began a pretty gradual descent for a while, and it was mostly just rolling hills for most of the morning. We're only 55 miles from Woods Hole. Day 74. Slept at the Chestnut Knob Shelter last night, did 36 miles yesterday, and then it was like really windy last night, so we didn't really start till like 7. It just seemed, I think it just sounded worse than it was, but right now we're kind of just figuring out what to do for the day because it's supposed to get to Woods Hole tomorrow, but weather's supposed to pick up today. Possibly rain, 80-mile-per-hour winds, which is enough to take over a semi-truck. And with like the condition of the trail after Halloween, like there's hundreds of trees just waiting to go down, so probably be pretty questionable, but we'll see. I mean, we're within range to get like to a road past Bland and then maybe get a ride into Bland. A trail angel named Iceman is gonna meet us near Bland. He like helped with like Christian Morgan's FKT attempts and stuff like that, and Fresh Ground got us in touch with him. So we'll see. He'll be around like 1 o'clock, and then hopefully we'll get more miles in and find a place to stay tonight so we're not camping in 80-mile-per-hour winds.
Yes, I would have stayed down here.
end of day 74. Today was pretty cool. So we were in contact with someone named Iceman. I think I mentioned it earlier today. He supported Christian Morgan on his FKT attempts. So we did like 21 miles today to start. Went straight through, and he was going to be meeting us at a road near Brushy Mountain Outpost, which is actually closed today, so that was perfect. And 4 or 5 miles before we got to the road, all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, like my ankle kind of started to hurt. Specifically like my Achilles, I guess. I've never had pain there before. And then I checked, we were like 4 miles out from the road. I just kept going. It just kept hurting, so I stopped and I put KT tape on. And originally, like initially, it felt like it did something, and then kept walking, and it still hurt. So that was great. And then we got to the road. Iceman was there. He fed us like a humongous lunch, hot dogs with ketchup, mustard, onion, coleslaw, and he had potato salad and macaroni salad and cookies and chocolate milk and soda. It was just amazing. I hadn't really eaten a ton that day, probably like, or today before that, like 600 or 700 calories. So I was starving, ate, and then we were just going to keep going and do like 8.8 more miles, get a 30 in for the day, because bad weather is supposed to be rolling in like late tonight into early tomorrow morning. And not like rain, like it's supposed to possibly be like 80-mile-per-hour winds, which is kind of scary, just like the condition of the trail because of all of the blowdowns from like the hurricane. Like there's a lot of stuff on the trail that didn't go down in the hurricane, and just with light winds you can hear it creaking. So it'd be a little scary. Like I could imagine that stuff will go down if there's much softer wind than that. An 80-mile-per-hour gust can knock over a semi-truck. So we kept going 8 miles, and it was like so cruisy, so little climbing, but oh my gosh, my Achilles hurt so bad the entire time. Like at first it was just climbing, and then within a few miles, like it's just, my whole ankle was so sore. So what should have been a very easy 8 miles was pretty painful. It's kind of hard to describe. I've never had Achilles pain before. It wasn't sharp shooting pain, but it was a lot of like intense sensation. I don't know. But we did it, got out. It didn't really slow us down. We got to the road exactly like 3 miles an hour, but I had to stop while walking and like rub my ankle and Achilles to like help relieve some of the sensation a bunch of times. And then we just got here. We're at Weary Feet. We weren't necessarily planning on stopping here, but with possibly like crazy winds, like I don't really want to be tenting if trees might be going down tonight. So Iceman drove us here. We're going to get a ride back tomorrow. We're like 24 or 25 miles from Woods Hole, where we're planning on staying tomorrow. I just took ibuprofen for the first time of the entire year. So I'm hoping if I do that like 2 times tonight and just rest, that I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and feel fine. Yeah, I felt perfect this morning. I felt perfect for 17 miles until this kind of started flaring up, and then we will see what happens. But the weather looks terrible tomorrow, so I mean, if for some reason I wake up and I don't feel better, I mean, we could take the day. I just don't want to do that, but we'll just see what happens. I mean, just doing stairs in here, like it's sore. It's not painful, but it's strange. I don't know. So we'll see. Today's day 75. We left Weary Feet Hostel this morning after a delicious breakfast there, and the weather was looking pretty rough. That, in combination with my Achilles hurting yesterday, was making us think about staying, but we wound up getting out, and after it, super early, we walked for about 5 miles and then ran into Iceman again, and my Achilles was feeling so much better. It rained on us a little bit, but it pretty much passed by the afternoon, so I was so glad that we just got up and moving and started walking for the day. Pictures and videos and stuff from like last time. There's just certain things. It's day 75, border to border calendar year Triple Crown, and today is going amazing so far. I really needed it to go like this today. Yesterday, my Achilles was really bothering me. It was so sore for for like 4 or 5 miles, and then we took a break, and then we had 8 miles left for the day, and it was still hurting. Got to Weary Feet Hostel, which is amazing. It got bought by Purple Haze and her husband. She was on the AT in 2023. Super nice. You definitely have to stop off there when you're near like mile 600, 610 or something on the AT. But I took a ton of ibuprofen last night. Didn't ice or do heat or anything. I just kind of hoped for the best. Woke up this morning, I was still a little sore. My current best guess is maybe I hit a stick or a rock or something into the back of my leg and bruised it, because it's kind of like sore to the touch. But we are, I don't know, 12 miles in or something for the day. I felt really good all day today, no issues. It's been a beautiful day. The weather was supposed to be terrible, but the sun is out. It only rained a little bit on us, so it's been perfect. Like, there was possibly going to be really high wind and rain, and there's not, so we're still doing 25 miles today. We're going to get to Woods Hole. We did about 5 miles this morning, and then Iceman met us at a road with soda, and then we did another like 5 or 6 miles and met him by the road where you can walk to Weary Feet. And he had like pulled pork sandwiches, coleslaw, cookies, chocolate milk, soda, tons of things. So I'm still so full. Like when we first started hiking, going north from the road where you can go to Weary Feet, I felt sick, just like full of food. But I feel better now. And the trail today, I mean, it's incredible. That's why I was so bummed yesterday. Like, this is some of the easiest section of the entire AT. So to feel sore yesterday was wild, because there's just no reason for it, because the trail graded so well. But today it's beautiful. We don't really have another climb until like the last few miles before you get up to the turnoff for Woods Hole. So we'll see. I'm excited to stay there. I never stopped off there in 2023, so that's gonna be cool. I really loved this section of trail. I remembered it from 2023. We actually stopped and swam in this pond and then camped right on the shore. This is pretty close to the final climb that you do before you get up to the junction for Woods Hole. But once you got up top, it was smooth sailing, super cruisy, and it made for a really easy end to the day. I wonder if it was that guy and if he's going to the hostel tonight. It's the end of the day. We did 25 miles today and got to Woods Hole. I've never stayed here before. This place is the absolute cutest. And someone actually called here anonymously and paid for our bunks for the night and for dinner and breakfast, and to help us resupply too, which is just amazing. So I don't know who you are, but if you're out there watching, thank you so much. This is amazing. This place just feels like being at home. It smells so good. We're gonna have dinner in a little bit. Thankfully, the entire day today, my Achilles felt totally fine. Maybe the first 20-30 minutes of the day, it was still a little tender, but I did do like a specific KT tape method for Achilles. Yesterday, I just taped right over the back of my leg and Achilles, but there's like another taping where you do like 2 small pieces to go, one above the ankle, one below the ankle. So I did that. It felt great all day. I definitely babied it a little bit, like didn't push as hard, but I'm so grateful because I was really worried about that. It just flared up so fast yesterday and it hurt really bad. So I was pretty nervous when we left this morning, just not really sure what was going to happen, because if it kept hurting like it did yesterday, I would have done a short day today. There's just no way I could have kept going. It was really, really painful the last 3 hours yesterday, but that's not the case. So we're here. We just checked in. Iceman picked us up and it was perfect. Right as we got to his truck, it started to rain and now it is pouring out, but we had beautiful weather all day today. It was a really great section of the trail, only like 5,200 feet of gain. It was really cruisy and I just felt so good, which I was really happy about. So he picked us up, brought us here to Woods Hole, and we're gonna have dinner and hang out and then start early tomorrow. Getting ready to go to bed right now, but today was so cool. Absolutely amazing. We're at Woods Hole, just had the best dinner. And today was just so magical. We just had dinner with Warren Doyle, the Warren Doyle. So that was pretty sweet. Awesome day. It just feels like everything's just been really coming together and just working so perfectly. Earlier today, Nimblewell was texting us, making sure we were safe in this bad weather. And then Iceman is helping us and trail angeling us and meeting us multiple times. And he's such a legend. And then we get to wrap up the day by having dinner with Neville, who runs Woods Hole, who is a sweetheart, just the nicest person ever, and Warren Doyle. So it's pretty cool out here. No complaints. This trail's a dream, man. Day 76 started with a big, beautiful breakfast at Woods Hole, and then we hiked out in a light snow, just going to get the miles in for the day. When we were about 11 or 12 miles in for the day, we got to the road where you can hitch a ride into Perisburg. Iceman was there to pick us up, and we got to see Ricochet again, which was awesome. And then we went into town quickly, grabbed some lunch, and then hiked out again for the day. No, you're right. We're skinny. It's the end of day 76. This day was pretty funny because we left Woods Hole in the morning. It was freezing and it was actually snowing a little bit, but we were getting picked up by Iceman at like 8, and we're planning on doing miles, but like leaving was hard, and then it was only like 11 or 12 miles to get down to the road where you can go into Perisburg. We knew we were going to go into town. We needed a few things, and then my buddy Ricochet, who I met on the PCT, and then we just saw him at Boots Off. He's like local to the area, so he was gonna come out. Punisher sent shoes there to his house. So we got down to the road. Iceman was there and Ricochet was there. Got to see him. He gave us a bunch of food and stuff just because he has stuff that's gonna expire that he's not gonna use because he's off trail. And we were just not feeling motivated. Like, at least I wasn't. I don't know. It was tempting to go 4 or 5 miles more and get off the next road. But we just decided just to keep going. Iceman slack-packed us like pretty much all day just by carrying our food bags. And without food, your pack is so light. So that was great. He met us again in like 4 or 5 miles. Left most of my food with him. We're going to see him tomorrow morning. So just kept enough food for tonight and tomorrow morning. So that was killer. Probably took like 5 or 6 pounds off me. And even after kind of getting a slightly later start, and having no motivation at all, and going into Perisburg. We got Mexican food for lunch there, got a few things at the store, and then went back to trail. We still did 32 miles today, something like that. And we just crossed over the 2,000 mile marker for the year. So we're almost a quarter of the way there. It was a good day. Gonna do another full day tomorrow. Day 77 and the end of the week started with an amazing breakfast with Iceman at the first road of the day. And then we had about 13 miles to go to where we were meeting him for lunch. And on the way there, I fell 2 times, but both times were super soft, so that was pretty okay. And then after we hiked out from lunch, I wound up falling again. This time it was not soft, and my left knee landed right on a rock, and I really hurt myself. It's day 77. We just got to camp for the night. It's like 7 o'clock. Today was like a mixed bag. Overall, pretty good. We woke up, left the shelter before 6. There was a bunch of hikers in the shelter last night. That was cool. Walked like 3 miles, got to the next road crossing. Iceman was there set up with breakfast, which was amazing. Like bacon, egg, and cheese, English muffin sandwiches, chocolate milk. And then we left there. It was still dark. Had like a good climb out of there. Got to all the climbs today. Like you would go up for a few miles, then the trail would kind of level out and just roll for like 6 or 7 miles. At the next road, 13 miles from there, Iceman was set up with lunch. So we had amazing lunch, pizza, and then like potato salad, macaroni salad, soda, more chocolate milk. At this point, we were like 16 miles in. And I had already fallen twice, but both of the times, the first time it was like super soft, didn't feel anything. The hour later, like the trail's super rocky and rooty. Hour later, fell again. Trail was still soft, but I went down harder, got like a couple little scrapes, no big deal. After lunch, walked for a few hours, fell again. This time, instead of landing on soft trail, I landed on a rock on my left knee. Cut it open, bruised it, hurt super bad for the rest of the day. It's just like, obviously I don't really think it's injured. It's just I fell on a rock on my knee. So that hurt for the whole rest of the day. But that's the only thing that hurts. And then we had, I don't know, 7 more miles. We got to another road. Iceman was there, had soda and chips and stuff. And then like left most of my food with him again because we're going to see him in the morning. So I just have enough for the rest of the day and tonight and tomorrow morning. And then he's going to be like a mile out tomorrow morning. And after leaving him, we had like 8 or 9 more miles. And he just like hurt the entire time. It's just super sore, especially on downhill, just because where the bruises. But it was fine. Still got to the shelter pretty fast. No one else is here. And we're just going to hang out, make dinner, and have a pretty early night. We did 31 miles today. It's the end of week 11. This was actually our biggest mile week for the entire calendar year Triple Crown, which is pretty cool. We did 217 miles this week. It only surpasses like one of the other weeks by a few miles, but considering that the first 5 weeks we were doing like 200 to 220-ish in Florida on flat trail, and now we just did 217 miles in 7 days. on the Appalachian Trail, where we're doing anywhere from 6,000 to 10,000 feet of climbing per day, feels pretty good. And we just surpassed the 2,000 mile marker. The week started leaving the Broken Fiddle. We went through the Grayson Highlands. Iceman came out to support us, and he just left. It was so amazing, all the help he had for us, you know, picking us up, driving us around, bringing us food at road crossings. It made this huge, hard week so much easier. And my Achilles is still fine after it flared up in the middle of the week. But the end of the week, I mean, I fell 3 times, really hurt my knee, my left knee, landing on a rock on the last day. It's super bruised up, it hurts, but we'll see how it goes.